How fast do you think a child should be able to answer what's 8 times 6? Have a guess. 5 seconds? 3? The current Guinness World Record is 1/3 of 1 second, set by a boy called Nadoob on the official Times Table Rockstars YouTube channel in March 2021. 500,000 views posted by the maths app itself as marketing. And look, fair play to Nadoob. The kid clearly loves it, he's worked at it, he's brilliant at what he does. But I want you to hear that number one more time. 3 answers a second. At 3 answers a second, the information has stopped going through anything that resembles mathematical thinking and started running on pure reflex. Whatever Nadoob is doing there, it's a different skill entirely, closer to gaming than to maths. And once you see that, you start noticing something genuinely worrying about Times Table Rockstars. The skill the app rewards is typing speed. Schools across the world are handing out certificates for fast typing and calling it good at maths. And the kids who can't type fast enough are getting publicly humiliated for it. Something is wrong with Times Table Rockstars. I make videos about the edtech your school is getting wrong, but 84% of you watching this aren't subscribed, which means most of you are turning up, watching me get worked up about something and then quietly leaving like a thief in the night. One click is all it takes anyway. Let's talk TTRS. The National Times Table Test, the actual government mandated check every year 4 child in England sits, gives the children 6 seconds per question. So if you get 8 times 6 in 6 seconds, you have passed the national standard, the maths is done. TTRS, however, keeps going past the 6 seconds. And the app actually sorts every kid in the class into a public ranking ladder. From wannabe at the bottom, yes, that's the official name, that's what the app literally calls a 7-year-old who takes longer than 10 seconds, all the way up through Garage Rocker, Busker, Giga, Unsigned Act, until you get to Rockstar at 3 seconds, Rock Legend at 2, and Rock Hero at 1 second per question. Your teacher can technically generate certificates for every skill level, but the certificates that schools actually hand out seem to be Rockstar and above. That's sub 3 seconds, twice as fast as the national standard actually requires. So to get your certificates, to get your assembly moment, to get your round of applause, at most schools you need to be twice as fast as you actually need to be. As this year 6 teacher put it, getting consistently below 3 seconds is about fluency. Getting consistently below 2 seconds is about touch typing. Getting consistently below 1 second is about multitasking. Keying in the answer to the current question while reading the preview of the next question. That's a teacher saying it. Rock Legend and Rock Hero, they're not maths achievements, they're typing achievements. Imagine going to a parents' evening and being told, your daughter doesn't really understand fractions, but her keyboard accuracy is excellent. We'd think it was mad. Put a wig and a leather jacket on it and call it Rock Legend though, and apparently everyone's fine with it. And the kids already know that it's absolutely just a typing test. As this parent said, mine is now in year 5, so we aren't doing it anymore. But last year she was obsessively trying to get her speed down to under 1 second, as some of her friends were, and she is super competitive. Anyway, she did eventually do it, once she started doing it on an iPad rather than a PC keyboard. It seems to be more about typing speed than Times Table knowledge at that point. I am very relieved we are no longer doing it. Another mum added, my son did 11s only, quicker to type and got his studio speed down. Completely pointless though, and thankfully not used in year 5. A primary school child correctly identified the actual game being played and gamed it accordingly. Respect. Which would be a quirky little criticism of an otherwise decent maths app if it stopped there. But it keeps going. Because for the kids who can't type fast enough, TTRS goes from useless to actively cruel. Let's think about that wannabe label for a second, because somebody at Math Circle actually approved that. A grown adult paid to make product decisions for an app used by 8 million children sat in a meeting and said, yes, let's call the slowest kids wannabes. Nobody in the room said, hang on, that's a 7-year-old learning to multiply. Maybe we should pick another label that doesn't translate to permanent failure in front of our entire class. Yet, nobody said it, or if they did, they were overruled. And it gets worse, because there's a shop. The kids at the top of the ladder collect more coins, so they can dress their rockstar avatars up. Buy the leather jacket, the flashy guitar, the proper rock god outfit. The wannabes, however, can't afford any of it. And if you look at Math Circle's own promotional images, they've actually drawn each rank. The wannabe gets a crap homemade looking guitar. The rock hero gets a flashy one in Superman colours. And here's what this does to actual children. We had TTRS a couple of years ago. I knew nothing of it until DD started crying hysterically in the bathroom apropos of nothing, saying she was a wannabe and that was all she would ever be, that she would never be a legend. Imagine my complete confusion, compounded by her saying her friend had been a wannabe, but she was now a garage act. We then moved schools, unrelated, and the thing is, the daughter correctly understood what the app was telling her, because that's exactly what it was, telling her. A piece of software designed by grown adults had publicly classified her, in front of her entire class, as a permanent musical failure. She believed it because the app meant it. If you use TTRS at school, drop me a comment. Which rank are you? Does your school hand out certificates? Has this app ever made you feel like trash? I want to know how widespread this is. It gets darker. In the words of this Trustpilot review, the method of learning is awful. My son gets very stressed with the pressure of getting badges and getting down to 2 seconds per question. He bangs his head and clicks off the app to restart it constantly because he took longer than a second to answer the question. It's ridiculous the schools are pushing parents to use this app. I think it should be scrapped, have the timer taken off to reduce the pressure. A primary school child banging his head against the keyboard over a times table app. And his school is the one telling him that he has to keep using it. Just imagine the homework email. Please ensure your child completes 30 minutes of TTRS this week. Sincerely, the teacher who hasn't asked why your son has a flat spot on his forehead. This next mum adds to the carnage. So, my 6-year-old son has a login for TTRS. He has SEN and really struggles in all areas. Sat down this weekend to have a go at the 2 times and 1 times tables, which is what they've been doing at school. But no, you can't choose which times tables to practice. It just does all of them plus division. So, his first question is 98 divided by 2. He has no idea of the answer, can see the timer counting down, and gets all upset, doesn't want to play. He can't even skip the question. Way to put kids under pressure and destroy a child's confidence. Here's the bit that personally gets to me. The kid at the bottom is, of course, the loudest victim, but the kid in the middle gets damaged too, quietly, without anybody noticing. My younger sister loved TTRS when her school introduced it, genuinely loved it. She'd come home and want to play. She knew her tables, she was decent at maths, the whole thing. Then she hit a wall, got her speed down to about 4 seconds and stuck there. The national standard is 6 seconds. She was answering in 4. By every measurable government mandated test, she was smashing it. But how she felt was the opposite. In her class, certificates went to the kids under 2 seconds. She watched her friends collect rock legend badges and sat there with nothing. She decided she was bad at maths. She's wrong. She was always wrong. TTRS told her she was rubbish at maths because she couldn't type fast enough, and she believed it. There's a whole generation of kids growing up convinced they aren't maths people because they failed a typing test in primary school. They just remember the certificates other kids got and the word wannabe sitting next to their name. Which brings us back to Nadoob, because Nadoob is the answer to the question I asked at the start. What is TTRS actually rewarding? The kind of disassociated can't look away mental state is the same one casinos spend millions designing slot machines to produce. We've just put a guitar emoji next to it and called it a rock hero. Oh, and 9 months after, Nadoob set that record, and I genuinely laughed when I found out about this, an 8-year-old broke it. I'm not joking. Have a look. December 2021. Heath Fox, her Times Table Rockstar's name, the official TTRS YouTube channel posted it with the caption, "Can you believe it?" Genuinely asking. Well, yes, Math Circle, I can believe it. You've built an app that has 8-year-olds grinding it for hours until they stop blinking. You guys designed this app to deliberately be addictive. Real talk though, maybe most of you watching love TTRS. The app has 4.6 star rating. There are obviously millions of kids out there having a brilliant time with it. The fun bit is the typing, the avatars, the leaderboard, the rockstar vibe. That's the game. That's what you're good at. That's what your school is handing out certificates for. And it doesn't have much to do with actual maths. Seriously, once you can answer in 4 seconds, you've already smashed the national standard. The maths is done. There is nothing much left to learn from TTRS at that point. And if you still love the app, fair enough. I know that compared to apps like iReady and iExcel, it beats them hands down. But spare a thought for the wannabes. Spare a thought for that kid in the bathroom. Spare a thought for the 6-year-old SEN kid getting 98 divided by 2 with a stopwatch. The wannabes are out there, and there may well be more of them than there are rock heroes. They just didn't get the certificates. Thank you so much for watching. As always, smash that like button if you made it to the end. You rock hero. All of you. Snipe, snap, out.